Yo, bro, I've been grinding those habits, and so far things have been good, but up until when I got stuck.
Okay, that's
And
good.
even though I'm no longer stuck on level one, I'm still stuck and it sucks. So how do I keep leveling up, especially with the rate at which I know I can go, but I can't seem to break this resistance barrier?
First of all, I just want to say kudos to you for putting in the work. I can tell that you've been putting in the work this past few weeks, and this is a very good time for us to break down habits a little bit further. In week 2, we spoke about leveling up your habits, and that was a very good stage. But at this point, I think we have to, understand a little bit about how our body works. For me personally, understanding biohacks, watching biohacks podcast, and just understanding the biology of the human nature and how we formulate some of those habits always equips me with a new perspective that empowers me. So in today's episode, definitely we can look at life from that biological point of view and break it down. But because I know you like gaming, so we'll talk about life like an RPG. In today's episode, we can dig deeper into mastering the game mechanics of habit formation. So the first thing, let's talk about habit loops. You see, if you think of them as the core game mechanics of your habit, life RPG, now you're speaking my language. Yeah, exactly. So similar to a game, like you said, let's break it down. We have the cue, we have the routine, and we have the reward. So every habit has a cue. That is the start button in your game. It has a routine, and the routine is similar to your actual gameplay, whatever you're doing in the game after you start. And the reward is similar to the power up. So think about it like this: we have the cue, the routine, and the reward. That is the breakdown of your habit on a higher level. So you identify these in your habits, and now you have a better control over them. Like I mentioned on the previous episode, having awareness as a base level is always gonna help you see your problems before anyone else, because you pull back, you're not really attaching emotions and frustrations as well as anxiety to your situation, but you're seeing things for what they are. So if you now have this foresight and you're able to see your habits as they go through their process of cue, what thought processes came to your mind, what thing around you came to your mind or happened before these habits kick-started. Was it alcohol? Was it your girlfriend that came in? Was it the cold? Was that the cue? And what was the routine as well as the reward? The minute you start to catch those things, that is the moment when you will be able to easily overcome the habit. So to many of us, or for me personally, like in the past, I'll tell you, I had habits that I wanted to get rid of, but they seemed to always come back around. For some reason, they just seemed like this boss in a fight that I couldn't seem to beat. It seemed like you've beaten the boss, but they just pop out of nowhere with so much ferocity, right? So this will definitely give you the power to be able to overcome it and see it before it comes back. How do I set up my environment for a win? So now let's talk about how to design your environment. Everything I'm going to speak about is in stages. So the first thing is the ability for you to identify the habits in your life and their mechanics. And then we go, once you've done that, I want you to now follow me as we go into your environment. Now, designing your environment is like setting up your game world, So your surroundings is very important, regardless of what habit, a good habit or bad habit. If it's a good habit, can you optimize it to become a better habit? If it's a bad habit, how can you optimize your environment to get rid of that habit or at least reduce its power? So they can either help or hinder your progress, regardless, like I mentioned. First of all, you have to make the habit you want to do easier to do, right? Do you want to read more? Do you want to for instance, if you want to read more, put a book by your pillow or put a book by your desk if you are usually sitting on your desk more often. Do you want to eat healthier? Stock up your fridge with prepped veggies, so it's easier to just pull them out, prepare them, and you're eating that. It basically, in a game, I'll compare this to, strategically putting power-ups or going for power-ups in strategic positions in your game world, or removing health stuffs and items that you usually craft in your game, removing those from your chest and putting them right in your inventory because you need them for quick access. So this is very similar to that as well. And once we've gotten past the stage of making sure your environment is ready, one other note I'll definitely speak about in terms of making sure your environment is ready is similar to this whole going to the gym thing. I understand that many people are working, we have our lives. Some people like to gym in the morning, some like to gym in the afternoon or evening. But if you are a morning gym rat and it's cold in your environment, for instance, so you say it's very hard to wake up and go to the gym, now stop putting your phone by your bedside. This also helps people who have the habit of snoozing their alarm. Remove your phone from your bedside. I know people say take your phone and put it in the other room. I'll tell you, there are many people that won't wake up from the alarm. They won't even hear it. But put your phone farther away from you in a way where you have to get up from the bed to turn off the alarm. You understand? And if you now want to take it one step further, prep your gym clothes, your socks, your shoe, your shirt and everything. Just fold it beside your phone. In fact, put it on top of your phone. You literally have to take up those clothes before you can turn off the alarm. That would force you to make a decision at that point. And I'll tell you, it will be way easier to dress up and go to the gym at that point than it is to just stretch your hands and hit the snooze button. So that's one example of how to design your environment to cater towards the goals you want to achieve. Now, after you've been able to successfully experiment with this and you now have some power, you have some leverage, the next stage, habit stacking. How can you stack up your habits to help each other? In a game, this is like combos. Imagine you're playing Mortal Kombat with some of those OGs. Oh my god, I remember playing with some guys back then. They won't give you a chance to rebuttal, to fight back. The minutes they get you, it's just punch, uppercuts, kick, punch. Like you're just frozen, you're in limbo, and they're sucking up your life. That is exactly what we need. We need to be able to give our habits combos. How can I stack up one habit into the other one so that now I've automatically achieved 2 or 3 habits without losing momentum? Because if one habit falls right into the other, I'm telling you, it's gonna feel way easier. You don't need to conjure up new amount of willpower to go into the second habit after what you've done the first time. That is why this is a game changer. But I would definitely say don't just jump into it. Go through the steps outlined earlier, and then you get to this stage. It could be in your week 3 that you start stacking up your habit. And how do we unlock some combo moves with habit stacking? Combo moves? Come on, I'm listening. Well, it's about linking a new habit to an existing one. And if I'm to give you some examples, I would just say, okay, maybe brushing your teeth. If I brush my teeth, I'll floss my teeth. If I'm taking a shower, I will wash my hair. If I meditate for 1 minute, I would read a book for 5 minutes. If I'm going to bed, I would take a book beside me and I'll read it for 5 minutes. I'll read a page. It depends on how you want to stack up your habits, but make it cater to yourself. Make it cater to your strengths. That's the whole idea about it. Usually what I do is I will take coffee in the morning after I've read a book and meditated, but that coffee kickstarts my workout. And then my workout, once I'm done, the next habit is to go shower. And that habit kickstarts a whole freshening up process for me. So it depends on how you want it, but make sure that it's something that by the time you're done, you feel energized, you feel good, and you just did something great for your body and your mind as well. Yeah, so it goes without saying that Even though I've been, speaking about all these stages, you're gonna go through challenges. You're gonna face obstacles. We've spoken about obstacles in the past, but you're gonna go through obstacles. So for me, I gamify a lot of things. One thing I'll definitely say is, if you can, adopt a perspective of having fun, or at least seeing your obstacles like mini boss fights, you now have a different perspective. Do I want to lose to this boss at the end of a week, 7 out of 7 battles, or do I want to make sure that at least I've beaten this boss 5 times this week? You want to have that mindset of, I'm leaving no crumbs for this boss to have. I'm gonna beat you down. And the boss basically is obstacles. That's the mindset, because you're gonna face obstacles and you just have to think of them in more fun ways so that you can achieve your goal. So
and how do we beat these bosses?
okay, yeah, so in reality, one of the good ways I use is the night before I plan ahead. I'm foreseeing the challenge that would come. I'm strategizing. Let's say I want to go on a run the next day, but on the weather app I can see that there is likely gonna be rainfall. So one thing I'll do is, I'm either gonna go with a raincoat, or I'm gonna go earlier, or maybe I'll plan to go to the gym. By being extra prepared already, I'm already anticipating that if it doesn't rain, awesome. It's actually I have more reason to rush out and go out to run. But if it does rain, I've already planned this. I already have a plan B. So I feel empowered. I don't feel like I don't feel caught by surprise. That's the whole idea about it. So if you're able to anticipate challenges, plan your strategies, you have way more chance of beating those bosses. And if, for example, if you struggle in the morning, like I said, prepare how you can beat that boss. If it's your blanket that is hard to lift up in the morning, put your phone farther away. That noise will disturb you. I hope it disturbs you. I hope it disturbs you for real though. If you feel cold, maybe dress up in the pajamas so you don't just feel very hard to get up in the morning. You have an opportunity to get up because you're still pretty warm, or maybe set up your heater in the morning to start heating up the house 30 minutes before your alarm rings, so the house or your room is warm before you get up. Just plan, think ahead, and strategize. That's the whole idea behind it. And after this stage, you definitely want to have a progression report. You want to have a system that you're able to level up the challenges. It's like every other thing in life. Once you start going to the gym and you're picking up 20 kg, after a few weeks, it won't feel as heavy, and you can't stay on that same level and grow. You need to keep challenging yourself. So as you master your habits, you definitely need to level them up.
I mean, it's like increasing the difficulty in a game. Sometimes I play a game and I enjoy it, I go back to play it on a higher difficulty. And if it's too easy, then it's no longer fun.
Exactly. But the key is definitely to start small. You start small, start gradually, and as you gradually increase the tempo, you increase the challenges, it starts to feel like you're building momentum. You actually start to seek more challenges, not just in that field that you're currently winning, but in every other thing in life. For instance, the first time I tried to meditate for 5 minutes, wow, that felt like an hour. It felt so long for some reason, and eventually 5 minutes was too short, 10 minutes. But the whole idea is it was gradually. So if you start to meditate for 5 minutes, eventually you can bump it up to 7, 10 minutes, 20, 30, 1 hour. But the key is small incremental increases. Keep it challenging but achievable. This last part is not necessary if you're unable to come up with a good support system, but I would say it is very helpful if you have a community, an accountability body, someone around you who can hold you accountable when you don't feel like doing those things. First of all, any goal you're chasing, you shouldn't leave it up to your emotions if you feel like doing it or not. It should be based on the system you've designed. This system says if I go to the gym 3 times a week, I would get fit. So if you don't feel like going to the gym 7 times a week, you still have to go to the gym 3 times a week. And by the end of the week, I'm promising you, you'll feel better that you went to the gym 3 times that you didn't feel like going to the gym. That's just the reality of it. So that's the gym example, but it's like anything in life. Those things that you don't feel like doing, and you eventually did that because you knew you needed to do those things. When you come out of it, there's a sense of pride. I'm sure many of you have felt this sense of pride in different aspects of your life, but maybe sometimes we tend to forget and we feel like, oh, I'm doing so great, it's okay for me to relax. Cool, but don't get too complacent that you over relax. Find an accountability buddy. I can be your accountability buddy. If you don't have one, send me a message, send me your updates, drop a hashtag, my 10 years in cooking, my 10 years cooking. The whole idea is I want to be your support system. I hope you can be my support system. We're building a community where we have, good people around us to support each other. I don't want us to have the mindset that there isn't people like me in the world to help me, because I promise you, once you put yourself out there, you'll find so many more people willing to help you and so many more people struggling with similar issues as well.
Like multiplayer mode in Call of Duty.
Okay, you got it. You just have to find an accountability buddy. And lastly, remember that setbacks are just respawn points, so they are not game overs.
So if I miss a day, it's not all over.
Absolutely not. If you miss a day, you just pick up from where you left off. It's about progress, not perfection.
Nah, for real. This is just what I needed. This is next level, bro. This is next level stuff. Yeah, but do you have any extra words of advice maybe for, other gamers out there?
Just remember that in this life RPG, consistency is your ultimate cheat code. Keep showing up. Just keep showing up, keep leveling up those habits, and watch as you transform into the high-level character you've always wanted to be. Just allow me say this. The reason why we're adamant about the power of habit. If you go and read this book, Power of Compounding Habits, there are many more books that stemmed off from that tree. But the whole idea still is you want to be a high achiever, right? Habits are powerful. But many people suffer from bad habits because we pick them up unconsciously. Now, when you have this awareness, you can flip that narrative, and now you create habits that would help you succeed. Imagine you replace your 10 bad habits with 10 new good habits. What that means is you would automatically do those things that are currently hard for you to do now. You automatically do them without stress. Imagine you've built that habit where you can do the things that you want to do now and that you're struggling to do, but you can do them without stress, without thinking. They feel easy. They feel like you're just walking or talking. The minute you're able to do that, you're unstoppable, because like I said in the previous episodes, others will look at you like, wow, how is he able to do that? Meanwhile, you were just doing it easily because it has become a habit, second nature. That is the point. That is what we're trying to do here. But for us to do that, you have to understand how habit works. You have to understand, maybe you have been unaware of some of those habits that you've been exhibiting. What are those habits that you like currently? What are those habits that you might need to tweak? Let's say 50% of that habit is good, but the remaining 50% isn't so good, so I want to replace part of it. What are those habits that I just want to replace completely? But the idea is you now have the ability to switch that story, create new habits to replace your bad habits, and equip yourself for the next 10 years. Because the person 10 years later from today will be proud of the decision you make today. I'm telling you, just think about that 10-year-old person in the future looking back on you and saying, wow, I'm proud of you. Thank you for making those decisions and sticking to the consistent plan that you had in play. That's the whole goal here. So I promise you, your future self will thank you for it. Well, I hope I don't see you next week. Well, nah, I'm actually joking. I hope to see you next week so we can actually talk deeper about some of the next elements in this whole long game series.
Hey, what more can be said? You guys heard the man. So time to level up those habits one step, one quest at a time. See you guys next week.
Thank you guys.